Hi there, Mike from Shoe Science Albany in Silverdale with this week's Tech Tuesday. Now, this week we're going to talk super shoes, and we're not going to talk specifically about different models, we're just going to talk about what makes them super. Now, as we come into spring and summer, we're seeing a lot more events rolling around, half marathons, Ironman, that sort of thing. And super shoes become very topical as part of performance enhancement. Now, at Shoe Science, we will always say that the top 2 inches are far more important than the bottom 2 inches. So training regimen, variability in your training, strength, technique, all of those matter more than the shoe that you wear on race day. Now, what we have to be cautious about is just throwing a pair of super shoes on and running faster will create loads on your body that potentially your body isn't used to, particularly in the lower limb, Achilles, calf, ankle regions. So proper practice is very, very important when integrating a super shoe into your running shoe selection. So at the end of the day, what makes a shoe super? So we all talk about carbon plates being, part of that rigid and leveraged and propulsive type technology that these shoes are using. Now, it's not the only thing that makes a big difference. We talk about shoe weight being very, very important as well. And we know that a 10% reduction in shoe weight can be anywhere between 2 and 3% less oxygen uptake that you'll be using over the same run. So they have a direct correlation with fatigue management. Now, when we talk about super shoes all sitting around that 200 gram mark, give or take, and we talk about training shoes being somewhere around the 270 to 300, we could be talking about a 20 to 30% reduction in shoe weight, which could be anywhere between 5, 6 or 7% oxygen uptake improvement. Now, that doesn't mean you're moving 5% faster, but oxygen uptake is just part of performance enhancement. The other major factor is obviously the plate itself and how that plate is built with a maximisation of the midsole and toe spring to give you optimum leverage forward. Now, it's the leverage that wastes less energy. Every running shoe that you use wastes energy as you strike the ground and the cushioning does its job. Super shoes waste less energy. Okay, so there is nothing out on the market that gives you 100% energy return. What we have to consider when choosing a super shoe is the distances that we're doing, the pace in which we're aiming at running, and also the running style and technique that we have and use normally. So when we talk about that, we talk about cadence. Do you have a very high cadence and a very low oscillation to the ground? Or do you have a lower cadence and a higher oscillation, meaning that you will strike more aggressively and require different levels of cushioning and potentially leverage to help propel you forward? So there's many elements out there to super shoes that make them all incrementally a little bit different. We have a range at Shoe Science Albany in Silverdale of around 8 to 10 models, from training carbon, which are designed for the 5 to 6 minute kilometre runner, to most of our super shoes, which are definitely sub 5, sub 430. And we also have a couple of new models into the market now, which are designed a little bit more for that half marathoner or that person who wants almost a slightly more traditional racing flat theory upon their shoe build. So come in and see us at Shoe Science Albany in Silverdale. We can walk you through it, run you through it is probably a more apt term, get you outside on the concrete and get you running in these to feel how these factors do come into play for your running style. You will need some guidance if you haven't worn them before. They are not built all the same, and the variables out there are many now, with every brand getting into this area of the market. So we hope to see you soon at Shoe Science Albany in Silverdale, and come in and try a super shoe and whether or not it's good for you. Thanks very much.